The following presentation is
This is maybe my 5th or 6th video about AEW and the decline of it and why it's a failure. You've seen videos before, that's why you clicked on this one, because I know I'm not the only one that you've seen. You probably haven't even seen one of the videos I've made, but you're probably watching videos or reading things on Twitter about how bad AEW is and what people's suggestions are to help AEW in these trying times. And while there are a lot of things that need to be fixed in that company, from, from just Tony Khan himself, or from booking perspectives, or from the talent, whatever you want to say, the production value, there are a lot. But I think there's a root to the problem. I think there's one thing that is causing all of this. There's one reason. There's one thing that is causing everyone's displeasure. Whenever people talk about what they would fix about AEW, what they would do differently, it all leads to this one thing, this one problem that is branching out into 100 different problems. And that one thing is something we like to call the hardcore audience. You see, Tony Khan is no longer booking to prove that he's out there and he's an alternative. He did that. He threw his line into the water, caught a couple of fish, and he's satisfied. And he's going to go take those fish and do whatever he needs to do to keep those fish happy. That is the hardcore audience. But those fish make up a very small amount of that pond, because in that pond you have most of the AEW audience, which is not people who watch New Japan. It's not people who care about or watch Ring of Honor. This hardcore audience of AEW is actually killing the business. And it's doing so in such a unique way because Tony Khan sees these people who defend AEW at every step, who say AEW is the greatest thing ever, WWE sucks, I like Notoru Yakazawa Shibatapa Obama, I want him in the main event, and I want to see him get paid millions of dollars on American television, and I want to see him wrestle, because AEW is where the best wrestle, and I care about wrestling only. That person, that entity, is who Tony Khan is catering for. And these people who cannot give criticism are the reason why AEW is dying, because Tony Khan, I feel that Tony Khan is a person who just listens to his fans, when in reality, sometimes you gotta listen to your haters. You gotta listen to your critics. But Tony doesn't want to see any of that. Tony just wants to see that this guy who watches all types of wrestling is enjoying AEW, because AEW is putting on dream matches, and that's a great thing. But it's not a great thing. Tony's got to pay attention to guys like me, aka 99% of the AEW audience. But you know what? That audience is getting smaller and smaller every day. Less ticket sales, less ratings, less fans, less money made every single day. That other 99% is getting smaller. And guess what? Eventually it's not going to be 1%. It's going to be 5%, because all these casuals, or not even casuals, people who just want change in AEW, who want it to go back to the way it was, who want long-term storytelling, who want good TV, those people are going to leave. They're already doing it. They already have. So that 1% is going to make up 5% of the audience, and then 10%, and then 25%, and eventually that's going to be your whole audience. And maybe this only consists of 20,000 people, and those 20,000 people are going to be the only people that are sticking around to watch AEW in a couple of years if there is no change. AEW's hardcore audience is the root of all problems. I'm telling you right now, they are causing the death of AEW. And to be honest, it's not even their fault. Tony is listening to them. Tony thinks that what they say goes. He's catering towards them. But they are idiots. You want to fix AEW? You want my 45 steps on how to fix AEW? You don't even need 45 steps. Here's one step. Just put out some crazy TV for the next 3 months. The craziest, most controversial, most insane television ever in wrestling. Bring Jack Perry back. Do that for 3 months. Jack Perry can be running his mouth, not even just talking about WWE. Jack Perry doesn't even need to talk about WWE or CM Punk or any of that. Jack Perry can talk about Tony Khan. Jack Perry can insult Tony Khan every single week in a promo. You just make AEW crazy for 3 months. That's 200,000 fans that are going to come watching AEW after 3 months. You just gained an audience of 200,000. you're back up to close to 1 million. That, at this point, is how you fix AEW, because they don't have anything else. AEW has one option left. The only option left, because they're no longer the good guys. Now, they got to play that controversial role. So they gotta be insane. It needs to be insane, controversial television. But I'm just saying, like, when AEW first started, it felt like this was the new Attitude Era. Because we had guys like in the Inner Circle, right, who were given the finger, flipping people off, and it felt awesome. And every time there was a promo, there would be a cameraman in the ring, and it just felt like closer, up close and personal, and it was like action-packed. That's the only way I can describe early AEW and why it felt like that. But at this point, there's no more options. There are no more options. So step 1 of 45, make the next 3 months the craziest television ever. That is what I would do. And then during those 3 months, we can talk about what's next. You know, there's something else after those 3 months. Let's discuss that during the 3 months. Let's get a plan going. But step 1 of step 45, because I got 45 steps. So that very niche, hardcore, New Japan watching, Ring of Honor watching, TNA watching maybe, audience of AEW is killing the company. Their own fans are killing the company. You see it on Twitter. There are these accounts that no matter what will go to the ends of the earth to defend Tony Khan and defend AEW, and it makes me sick. Don't get me wrong, if it was 2019, 2020, or 2021, I would have accepted that. I would say, you know what? You're probably right. Tony Khan is a god. He can't do anything wrong because everything about AEW is perfect. This is a great company. Now? No way. No way. I am Robbie Loblaw, aka Robert Lobenthal Lawrence, aka Bob Loblaw, Canadian-made, globally known, and universally loved. Tell me if you think I'm right. Is this niche, hardcore AEW fanbase actually killing the business? Is it their fault? Is it Tony's fault? Is this the main reason, the root of the problem? I think so. You let me know. Good night.